Welcome back to Sports Channel Studios, New York. Obviously, the Calgary Flames are thinking about a win here tonight and perhaps a sweep. We could have a series end tomorrow with Montreal and Boston in the Adams division. To hear Montreal veterans tell it, this season's Canadiens squad is stronger and better balanced than the Flying Frenchmen who strung together 4 Stanley Cups in the late 70s. Boston will not argue. The Bruins could not find a way to beat those Canadiens, and they haven't laid a glove on this team either. Montreal can clinch the Adams tomorrow night, but the Habs are still wary of a battling wounded bear.
We know what to expect from them in the first period especially, and I'd love if we could take the lead again, but it's going to be a tough game. They're going to come out with the best they have, and we don't want to give them any life.
When you're ahead 3-0, you think sweep for sure. If you take it one game at a time, we win the next one, it's a sweep.
A loss is a loss. I mean, you look at it both. I mean, you find good things and bad things and everything, and we're just going to have to keep with the same effort we've been in every game, and hopefully, we'll come out in the better end of the score Sunday.
So the Canadiens seek a second straight sweep tomorrow night here on Sports Channel, 7 o'clock from Boston Garden. Also at 7 o'clock from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. Pittsburgh will try to grab a 2-game edge on those Philadelphia Flyers. You know, Stan, we talk about the Canadiens being such a strong team. Hartford gave them fits in the first round, and Boston has not been out of any game in the second round, yet Montreal just has it together, it appears.
All you have to do is win by 1 goal. And interestingly enough, I've been talking to the Montreal people. They tell me that they are not playing up to their potential. Now, this is a very, very good hockey club, but when they don't play up to their potential, they have to eke out the games. They're getting the goaltending. Patrick Roy was sensational, as he always is at the Forum. And, of course, on the road, Brian Haywood plays capably. So if the other team loses a player or two, the Bruins are without Kenny Linsman, without Gordy Kluzak, they're not going to do too much.
Well, a couple of historical points. The last time the Canadiens won 50 games in a regular season, they won the Stanley Cup. They got 53 wins in the regular season this year. And also, Gainey and Robinson, who are around for the string of 4 cups, aren't playing much now. They're watching, and they say that they haven't seen a club that's as balanced, that there's no top scorer. They got so many weapons that they're just so hard to stop.
Well, they have guys who are third liners on the Montreal team, who would be first liners on any other team. Now, they have a guy named Mike McPhee, who has been called the most underrated player in the league so many times that by this time he is rated. He can't be underrated anymore. Tremendous hockey player, big guy, does the job. The defense is solid. Kid like Peter Svoboda has finally come into his own.
Well, they come at you in waves, as does the team we're watching tonight, the Calgary Flames. We'll send you back to Los Angeles, period 3, after this.
This Stanley Cup score update is being brought to you by your Toyota dealer. Whatever car or truck you choose, you'll love the quality. Who could ask for anything more? MasterCard. You can count on MasterCard to help you master the moment. And Northwest Airlines, serving more of Asia than any other U.S. airline. They've moved one step closer to the ultimate goal. Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh. Boston versus Montreal. Chicago versus St. Louis. Los Angeles versus Calgary. The Stanley Cup Division Finals, only on Sports Channel. Sports Channel profile, Mario Lemieux of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I feel that it's possible to score 100 goals if Gretzky scored 92 goals when Flair did it before, or almost did it. I think it's possible to get 8 more goals in a season. That's a tough record to achieve, and it takes a hell of a team around you to accomplish that.
Mario Lemieux, heir to the throne of hockey superstardom, going for the ultimate goal, the Stanley Cup on Sports Channel. Where can you find cable TV's newest source for up-to-the-minute sports scores, fast-breaking sports news and highlights? The answer is Sports Nightly. Join Lee Zeidman, Darryl Brunette, and Mike Breen before, during, and after each night's primetime event. You get updates on the evening's major sports events from the NHL to the NBA, baseball, and more. Plus, get expert commentary from our in-studio guests. Sports Nightly is cable TV's newest source for sports news, and you'll find it only on Sports Channel.
The Calgary Flames scored twice in the first period and have maintained that lead throughout. As we get ready for the third period here at the Great Western Forum in Inglewood, it is still 2-0 Calgary leading the Los Angeles Kings. Obviously, down only 2 goals, LA can get themselves back in here, but they have to work a little bit harder, one would say, yet at the same time, every time they seem to pick up the pace, there's a Calgary player right on them, right in their face.
I don't think it's a matter of hard work, Jigs. I think it's a matter of maybe some different systems. Systems in a sense, stretching the zones. And if LA wants to get back into the thing now, they need some help from their defensemen, because Calgary has taken the neutral zone away from Los Angeles. Their defensemen have to play a little give and go. They have to maybe lug the puck, go end-to-end if necessary, but only Duchesne is really capable of doing that, and definitely enter into the offense zone as the fourth player.
Robbie Fatorik, the LA coach, has been preaching shoot, shoot, shoot. We look at our second period shot chart, and we find that they did have a little better attack down there in their zone. That is in the Calgary zone. But first we see where number 99, and then you see where Bernie Nichols had a couple of chances from.
Well, LA had a few more chances than they did in the first period, but you look at 3, maybe 4 and 5. Now, if we go down to the other side, you know, Calgary only had 1 real good scoring chance the second period. Why is that? Well, a lot of it, Calgary's playing a little different game right now. They're slowing the pace down, and you don't want to slow the pace down too much against LA, because they've got the people with the firepower and the offense to beat you. But right now, unless LA solves that neutral zone area and they get their defensemen involved in the attack, you know, Calgary just going to defense them very well.
There are the shot charts for the second period. Here's an interesting situation in the series. We talked in Calgary about how wide the top of the dashers are, the top of the boards. And you see the yellow strip, there's a puck and there's room for about half of another one. And here in Los Angeles, only a 3-inch wide puck sits on top of the boards. Does that any factor, Herb, in playing the glass, playing the boards?
No, I don't think so. Even though that Los Angeles lost a tough game in Game 1 on a bad bounce, the key thing is the standards that hold the glass in place. And here the Saddledome in Calgary is a beautiful arena, but they were getting bad bounces, and it really was a heartbreaking loss for Los Angeles.
Well, the crowd is alive again as we get ready for the third period at the Great Western Forum. Your score is still the Los Angeles Kings as Big 0, and the Calgary Flames 2 will be back in just a moment.
Completely different Mercury Cougar. With speed-sensitive steering so ingenious it actually knows the difference between cornering and parking. All this handling and the quality of a Mercury.
Like a Mercury. It's just a pure and natural beer.
Hi, I'm Dennis Savard, Chicago Blackhawks, with reason number 18 to watch NHL hockey. Great skating. Hit the action reaction. Watch NHL hockey.
As we get set for the third period, Wayne Gretzky is at center ice. Krushelnyski on the left, McSorley on the right for Los Angeles. But it's the Flames putting the puck in the LA zone and going in after it. Patterson hit the outside of the net with that shot out of the corner, but they're ruling the play was offside at the blue line to begin with. Patterson, who had been with Gilmore and Mullen as the top line for Calgary. You see the customized California license plate, one of the old ones. I don't think that's legit. The great one. And Terry Crisp thinking that he has a lot of great ones on his hockey club.
What about the Jeep we saw in the parking lot with the wheel cover in the back there? Unbelievable. It had number 99, Gretzky, right on the wheel cover. I've never seen something like that.
Nor have I. They've brought this town alive, city alive, really, and The two counties, L.A. County and Orange County, they're talking about hockey in the Bay Area. San Jose would like to have a National Hockey League team. So would Milwaukee, so would Hamilton. We really shouldn't get into expansion talk because a lot of cities would like to have an NHL club. The puck has been shot down into the Los Angeles zone. Back to touch up is Kennedy, and that's an icing call. And talk about expansion, this L.A. team in several years held training camp in Victoria, British Columbia. They're going to move into Hull, Quebec with their training camp next fall and will be playing a lot of games in different cities, including Cleveland, Cincinnati, Atlanta, and I'm not sure exactly where all. There's one or two other cities that will see this team. Wayne Gretzky, 9 minutes and 2 seconds in the second period. Doug Gilmour, 32 seconds less.
Gilmour's time will be changed because of the penalty killing and power play. And Gretzky, he'll just go a lot more in a 5-on-5 situation than Gilmour. Calgary uses their bench, their forwards more, than Los Angeles will.
The man who is in behind Robbie Ftorek, Brian Maxwell, one of the two assistant coaches. The other, former goalkeeper, Cap Rader. He handles things in the press boxes. Gretzky got it to late line, scores! Set up by Gretzky.
Well, this is what L.A. needs, is get this crowd going wild, and we talk about the importance of that L.A. defensive core, and that's the case in point.
And they got the goal inside of the first minute of the third period, and the crowd is alive again. Waters has dumped the puck into the Calgary zone and is cleared up by McCrimmon, bounced it off Neuendijk. Moves it into the center ice area. Here's McClellan. Dumps it in through the Los Angeles defense and called back on an offside. And now some pushing after the whistle as they went to the corner right in front of one of our cameras. So we'll get a good close-up look at this. Guess who that is? Jay Miller right in the middle of things.
Well, more importantly, Jiggs, this crowd came alive. Get these 16,000 people behind him at this time. What a time to get that all-important first goal. First minute of play.
That's Ron Duguay. Linesman Leon Stickle, who just celebrated his 41st birthday the other day, pushing Duguay away.
Duguay and Brad McCrimmon were going at it earlier. McCrimmon has given him the stick a couple of times. Duguay was looking for the spot to get him, and that's why he went after him.
Well, we'll get some penalties here, but Los Angeles is on the board. It's 2-1 now.
The moment. There are those that take us by surprise. Sometimes real, or yet to be realized. That's why you can count on MasterCard at any given moment. In nearly 3 times the number of places as American Express. Wherever you happen to be, wherever the moment may find you. MasterCard. Master the moment.
There's the man who scored the goal for Los Angeles, defenseman Tom Laidlaw, the former New York Ranger, getting his second of the playoffs from Wayne Gretzky at the 47-second mark. Roughing penalties been handed out on that confrontation in the Los Angeles zone. The teams remain at 6 aside as Gretzky brings it over the line. Played it behind Tonelli. Contos was there. Tonelli got knocked down by McCrimmon. Play continues. 3-on-3 at center ice as Neuendijk hustles over the line. Forced to play it in around around Duchesne, excuse me. It goes to Gretzky. Puts it back to the net. Gets it right back again. DeGray putting it on his stick. Now to Steve Duchesne. To Contos. There's Contos off the wing. Shoots off the arm of Mike Vernon. It bounces to the left wing for Gretzky. Back of the net for Tonelli. Trying to center one. Vernon down to cover the puck. And he gets a face-off as Ramage shoves at Contos and Tonelli after the whistle.
What makes Calgary a good hockey club, Jiggs, is the fact that they'll slow it down, and when they have to, they'll pick up the pace a little bit. They can only go so far in a type of a speed type of game, but they will switch those gears when appropriate. Now they've got to match LA's enthusiasm and quickness. So let's see if they can do it. And Chris Contos got a good shot there over in the right boards. And Chris has had the hot hands in these playoffs. The young guy that's just finding himself right now, and his career is coming alive even at age 25. And that thing had eyes almost. That was a big save by Vernon. Another inch either way, that might have found its way in.
When this series started, he was playing the wing with Gretzky and Allison, but Allison not in the lineup tonight, and Contos finding himself on another line. LA trying to come out of their own zone. Robitaille back for a loose puck. Robitaille, Taylor, and Nichols at the moment. Bernie Nichols with a pass to Taylor. He can't drag it in around McCowan. Taylor sets it up again at the blue line. Otto had moved up to forecheck. Now the pass from Duchesne ends up in the Calgary zone, and Vernon moves it to the left wing boards. Right to the stick of Robitaille, and he turned it over. Poplinski feeds it to Tim Hunter. Hunter across the line, plays it between the defense. LA starting out as Calgary started for a player change, and nothing developed. They put it on Nichols' stick. Can't split the defense. It got hauled down. LA moving a puck around behind the net. The fans yelling as Nichols centers. It's in the goal mouth. Now the net comes off, and referee Andy Van Helleman is going to call a penalty. There was no call originally, and then as they went to the net and jammed things up there, the referee indicates a penalty call with still 17 minutes and 10 seconds left in this third period. But more importantly, LA is right back in the hockey game.
For the fire, for the drive, for pushing hard each time you try. For the hero staying true, for the team for coming through. This one's for you.
World champions for the 4th year in a row, the Budweiser King, and Motor Week's Driver of the Year, Kenny Bernstein.
This Bud's for you.
Penalty is for hooking on Tim Hunter at the 2:50 mark.
Earlier, Jigs, Bernie Nichols tried to split the defenseman, and a lot of the crowd thought that should have been a penalty right there, and they came alive. And then all of a sudden, Bernie Nichols got the puck out in front. Timmy Hunter came back and just rolled his check heavily into the net. And I think the crowd might have called that penalty, if anything.
Los Angeles with a power play for the 4th time in this game, and Gretzky holds the puck, centered one. Off to Gray, puts it in the corner for Nichols. Gretzky picks up the right wing as Nichols moves the puck across ice behind DeGray. Dale DeGray into John Tonelli to Wayne Gretzky. It slipped off his stick. Merzen tying up Gretzky, and the Flames have shot at the length of the ice.
LA is 2 for 12 on the power play in this series.
Gretzky holding the puck at the Calgary line. Cross ice pass. Here's Nichols with a shot. That takes off and ends up in the seats.
A lot of that power play revolves around Bernie Nichols, and I'm sure Calgary understands that, but they got to overload a little bit and be anticipation when that puck moves from, say, Gretzky to Duchesne to Bernie Nichols on top of that circle, and he likes to shoot off that pass. Got a great release. Terry Christie's looking at his penalty killing unit, knowing that they're one of the best in this league. During the year, they were #1 in the National Hockey League.
And so many scouts will point to the fact that 5 of the 6 guys who kill penalties also play on the power play, Herb.
Well, that's what generally happens, especially teams are your skilled hockey players. But the penalty killing unit here and the power play unit, Calgary, is going to miss Joey Mullen. I'm not sure what happened to him, but if he's out for an extended period of time, this is really going to hurt Calgary. They're already missing Gary Suter, who is a great offensive defenseman, helps orchestrate their power play, and they're trying to make up for that void.
They have not dressed Sergei Priakin or Yuri Radina for either of the games, any of the 3 games in this series thus far. We may see one of them on Monday night if Mullen is out of the lineup for an extended period. Now Los Angeles chasing the puck back into their own zone. Rudy directing traffic, plays it up the right side. Duchesne tipped it to Gretzky, pulls up on Merzen, the puck knocked loose. Duchesne has it. Waits for his teammates to get back on side, then gave it to Gretzky, who was off balance, goes cross ice to Taylor. Dave Taylor trying to move up the left wing boards. Got in around McGinnis, then was picked up by Merzen. Gretzky with it back of the net. Merzen backed into him. Taylor got tripped up. Dave Taylor trying to get it to Gretzky. Got it up in the air. Gretzky turns and turned it over to Gilmore. 46 seconds remaining in the penalty. Here's Duchesne. Lube picks up the forechecking for Calgary. Duchesne slaps one in off the boards, trying to get it to Gretzky on the right side. McCrimmon figured out, gave it to Gilmore, and again, Los Angeles has to go back.
Earlier I mentioned about Gilmore and Lube. They just have great anticipation to find out where that puck is going to go, and they're always there just waiting, and they just don't waste any time getting that puck out.
LA unable to penetrate at the blue line, and Patterson with a pass to Waddle. He got bumped in the Los Angeles zone, and here's Gretzky. 15 seconds left in the LA power play. Gets away from Patterson, comes over the line, working on McCrimmon. The crowd to the edge of the seats, but Gretzky's pass was blocked and cleared out to center. Duchesne with it. Couldn't get it across the line. The team's at 6 aside again as the Kings dump one in. Gretzky trying to go around McCrimmon. The puck comes to the right wing corner for Rob Ramage of Calgary. Angel shoots it down into the Los Angeles zone, not far enough for icing. Duchesne back. Played it to the right side. Nichols with a good pass. Up the ice come the Kings. Robitaille over the line. Got turned around in the play. Now Laidlaw has the puck. He's given it to Waters. Waters, the pass to Robitaille, but it's offside at the Calgary blue line. We pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel.
Sports Channel means more to sports fans than our exclusive national coverage of the Stanley Cup playoffs, straight through to the finals. It's the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour, highlighting today's heaviest hitters, the World Basketball League, a fast-breaking hoops game with a truly international flavor. Sports Channel is also the home of the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, exciting amateur baseball featuring Team USA, and Sports Nightly for up-to-the-minute scores and highlights. Sports Channel, primetime sports and...
The goal by Laidlaw got this crowd back into the hockey game in the 47-second mark of the third period. They're alive again as Krushelnyski got the puck into the Calgary zone, but it's cleared out now by McGinnis. McClellan picks it up off the left wing boards. Rudy puts the catching glove on it, then plays it up the left side to Krushelnyski. Long pass out of the reach of McSorley. There'll be no icing as Merzen picks it up and starts out. Turned it over. Here's an opportunity for Casper. Glove save by Vernon as Casper tried to go to the top corner.
Well, that was a great play by Stevie Casper. Merzen had a little trouble coming around his net. Could not make the proper clearing play. L.A. held it in, picked it off to Stevie Casper. Yeah, nice shot. Quick release. Big save by Mike Vernon.
Marty McSorley makes things happen in the Calgary end of the ice. And I have the feeling that maybe Merzen thought there was going to be an icing call.
Well, and Marty McSorley was working hard on it, just trying to get his stick into him. Dana Merzen again should go right off the glass. Was held in, but a nice play by Stevie Casper. Quick release. And Vernon, if he was not out, that puck was in. That's the importance of a goalie coming out, cutting off those angles.
Casper still looking for his first goal in the playoffs. Mike Vernon, who had been looking for his third shutout after having blanked Vancouver twice in that series, had the shutout disappear when Laidlaw scored. Now Gretzky, Duguay, and Miller out front for Los Angeles, and here's Duguay. His shot is blocked. Duguay shovels it into the corner. McCrimmon tying up Miller, then Gretzky got knocked down by Otto. Duchesne moves it off the right wing board. Centered one is tipped, and Vernon made the pad save off Miller. Gretzky can't get a stick on it. Then he gets knocked down by Otto. The LA bench standing, screaming about the way Gretzky was taken down. In the meantime, Duguay starts out with the puck, turned on Fleury. Played it to the right side for Duchesne. It's over the line. Miller heads to the front of the net. Roberts stole the puck. Jimmy Hunter sends Fleury across the line. Fleury got rubbed out on the boards by Kennedy, but Fleury with it again, put it in front off Contos. A wraparound won't work for Calgary, and up the ice comes Jay Miller. Miller with Contos as they get over the line. Contos to the right side to Gretzky, hit the post. Vernon sliding across. It hit the post to his left, and now Hunter moves up through center ice. Laidlaw picks him up as he comes over the line. The pass to Fleury, takes a dive. Contos runs him into the boards now. And Waters has it back of the net. Gave it to Laidlaw, to Tonelli. Slips it by Natras. Moves it on to Gretzky on right wing. Waits for some help. Now he sends Laidlaw in off the boards. Laidlaw with a shot. Stick save by Vernon. Tried to dive on the puck and missed it, but his teammates bail him out.
LA is getting back in the game because of the activity of their defensive court.
They have picked up the pace all right, moving the puck. And now Robitaille comes back in to take his man into the boards, freezing it there with 12 minutes and 37 seconds remaining in this third period. Let's pause now for a regional break. You're watching the Stanley Cup playoffs on.
They've moved one step closer to the ultimate goal. Philadelphia versus Pittsburgh. Boston versus Montreal. Chicago versus St. Louis. Los Angeles versus Calgary. The Stanley Cup Division Finals, only on Sports.
Gary Crisp getting some refreshment after having barked out instructions. The Calgary bench, now the Los Angeles bench. Brian Maxwell up in front of the head coach, Robbie Fatorik there. Wayne Gretzky just had a 2-minute, 40-second shift. 2 minutes and 40 seconds out there for the entire power play. And another 40 seconds, Herb.
Well, another little stat, Jakes. Calgary has not had a shot on goal this period. Almost 8 minutes, they have not had a shot on goal. So you got to give LA some credit here, the way that they're just carrying the play towards them.
And a look at Lanny McDonald going back to the bench. He had some interesting comments about his contribution in this series and the big fight thing that happened in the third period in Game 2 up at Calgary the other night. Here's his statement.
Well, first of all, you do what you have to do to win. You find ways to win, and you find ways to build team morale. And something that happened the other night sometimes happens in a hockey game, and you have to answer the bell, whether it's for yourself or for a teammate. And I'm glad that we answered the bell and stuck together the way we did.
16 years Lanny McDonald has played in the league. He's answered the bell many times. And now Duchesne handling the puck with a good pass to Gray with a shot. Glove save by Vernon.
Jigs, we're talking LA again. The activity of their defensemen. Laidlaw scores a goal. Duchesne is really now starting to go coast to coast. And Dale DeGray, very intelligently entered that offensive zone as a force man. Now got another good shot on it. That's the key. That's the key thing. If they do that, they're going to find they're going to put Calgary back on their heels just enough. And that was the big thing that I mentioned after the second period. And they're doing it very well right now. Big save by Mike Vernon, and see look around one of his defensemen to come up with that shot. That was a very difficult save because he didn't see that thing right from the start.
And the crowd loving the action here. They were very quiet. They were taken out of the game, as we've said so many times. Calgary scored twice in the first period. This crowd very quiet. And they've come to life after Laidlaw's goal at the 47-second mark of the third period. 2-1 is the score. Still 12 minutes and 7 seconds left in the third period. And to this stage, Calgary has not had a shot on goal in the third period. The Kings with 7. And some of the advertising on the boards come loose. Linesman Ray Scapanello and Leon Stickle handling the chores tonight. Stickle, 18 years of experience, has been in the linesman role for over 1,500 NHL games. And they'll hold things up here as an airplane has come out on the ice. Not one of the ones from LAX, just one of those paper models. And right from the draw, they put it on target. Flames move it up to Lanny McDonald. McDonald backhanding it in around Laidlaw. That's Patterson chasing it. Trying to get him to McDonald. He was knocked down by Waters. McSorley moves the puck out to center ice to Casper. He couldn't play it around Nieuwendyk. And McGinnis floats it into the Los Angeles zone. There's Laidlaw. Now to Waters. And Waters couldn't play it around McDonald, so back go the Los Angeles Kings. Laidlaw with a pass to McSorley. Krushelnyski moves up through the middle. Casper chases it into the Calgary zone. McGinnis there had it knocked away by Casper. Now Merson has to chase it. Merson without a stick, trying to tie it up. It's knocked out of his feet. Coming to the left wing, Krushelnyski takes the man. In comes Duchesne, but he couldn't pick up the puck. Nieuwendyk has it. Joe Nieuwendyk over the line. Lube trailing, takes the pass. He shoots. That's blocked at the defense. Good job by McSorley going down to block that. Comes loose again. Nieuwendyk with a blast. That's off the shin pads of Duchesne, and it bounced right to Krushelnyski. Up to Gretzky. Gretzky centers one. There's Duchesne, bumped by Lube. And Okan Lube is able to recover the puck and start out. A little less than 11 minutes to go in the third period as the Flames dump it in. Back to pick it up is Dale DeGray. Use the left wing boards with a pass to Contos. Good move to pull it away from Fleury. Contos puts it in the skates of Gretzky. DeGray and Contos with him as Gretzky fires one in off the boards. Back for it is Brad McCrimmon. Plays it around Gretzky. Couldn't get it outside the line. Gretzky centers one. Oh, and it's blocked at the defense as McCrimmon pulls it back into him. Now the whistle, and there'll be a mild complaint here by the Kings as referee Andy Van Helleman was behind McCrimmon. McCrimmon coming up with the block here may be penalized.
I think he is going to be penalized, Jiggs. He said he fell on the puck, but he was already down. But he said Van Helleman said he reached out and pulled it underneath him. I guess that was a good call, but originally he was down on the ice because he was tripped. No tripping call, but there is no question. That was the delay of a game.
And L.A. is going to the power play. Kelly Rudy has not lost a game on home ice since joining this team, and we talked to him about coming back home and the importance of this big game.
Only walking outside after the game. With the temperature, really, there's no difference. Hockey rinks are pretty much the same. The Forum has a special feeling for myself, just that it's my home building, and the fans really they're fanatical right now, and I really get into it for that reason.
Now the team back into it, and they have an opportunity now as McCrimmon receives a delay of the game penalty. It's called at the 9:37 mark. This now is the fifth power play opportunity of the game for Los Angeles in the series. Coming into tonight's game, there were only 2 of 9 on the power play against Calgary. They've been only 7 of 56, 7 power play goals and 56 chances in the regular season. And you saw the note on Wayne Gretzky trying to become the all-time leading goal scorer in Stanley Cup playoff history.
There's a lot of hockey to be played in this game, but this might be really the most crucial moment we're going to see.
Duchesne giving the puck to Gretzky out at center ice. Drops it back. Steve Duchesne takes it, moves it to the right side for Tonelli. Cross-ice pass out of the reach of Gretzky, and the Flames just slap it down the ice. It'll be picked up by Duchesne. Gretzky floating around at the Calgary blue line with Merson staring at him. Duchesne goes to the opposite wing for Tonelli. Slipped in around McGinnis. Now Gilmore picks up Tonelli as Taylor comes in after a loose puck. Tonelli frees it up for Taylor. To Gretzky. Out to Duchesne. He shoots Vernon, a save. The rebound. It's in the skates of Vernon and cleared to the far side. Held in now by Nichols. Plays it around Lube, but comes outside the line before Duchesne got a stick on it. Bernie Nichols sends Gretzky over the line. The pass to Taylor. He's grabbed by Ramage. Taylor trying to get it to Gretzky. Ramage, what a job on Taylor, forcing him off the puck, and now Gilmore kicks it ahead. Nichols gets a stick on it. Put it back in the net. There's Gretzky. Out in front. Oh, and Vernon got a chunk of that as Tonelli tested him.
Boy, he got it. That was a tremendous save by Mike Vernon. Tonelli sprung loose, and when Gretzky starts working around that goal line, that's where he's really dangerous. But he doesn't necessarily like to work on top of the circle. Get him deep, and he's really dangerous.
Gretzky stays out there. Contos has come out, along with Nichols, DeGray, and Robitaille, and the puck has gone over the glass up into the seats. Mike Vernon comes up with 2, maybe 3 key saves on this power play for Calgary.
LA is 0 for 4 tonight, but they're having some chances. But again, they got to get some help from a Robitaille. They got to get some help for Taylor, Kasper, Kruselinski. These people outside, they haven't been scoring goals in the playoffs. Contos has carried them, Gretzky's carried them, Nichols carried them, and that's just basically where it stops at.
Jerry Crisp at the bench during this power play for Los Angeles. Next man up, you.
Terry Crisp has got to be worried. Not only they got to kill the rest of this LA power play, but they got to get their first shot on goal. Now we got 8:55 left, and Calgary has not had a shot on goal.
Joey Mullen has just returned to the Calgary players bench. He is available for duty again, but 32 seconds left in McCrimmon's delay of the game penalty. Calgary leading by a score of 2-1. Nichols on the draw. The puck in the skates of Contos and cleared by the Calgary defense. Rudy comes well out of the net. Leaves it for Dale DeGray. DeGray back in the lineup tonight. Rushes the puck over center across the Calgary line. Couldn't play it through the defense. Contos has tipped it to Robitaille. Gretzky shoots. That's just wide of the net. And bouncing to the boards, held in by Nichols. Nichols plays it across to Contos. Now to Gretzky. Gretzky making everybody move. His shot tipped in front. Teams at 6 aside. Contos puts it back in the net. Robitaille centers one. Nobody there for Los Angeles, and Brad McCrimmon has just iced the puck. But a big kill on the penalty by the Calgary Flames. The clock is stopped with 8 minutes and 8 seconds remaining in this third period. The goals by McCowan and Otto in the first period. Laidlaw early in the third period, and the Flames lead 2-1.
Nice cold bud?
And where does she come from?
Getting ready for a face-off in the Calgary end of the ice. Los Angeles with 11 shots on goal. The Flames with 0 for this third period. They're even now at 21 shots by each team. When you think back, Calgary outshot the Kings 14-4 in the first period, 7-6 in the second. And now Mullen out on the ice for the first time since late in the opening period has given the puck to Gilmore, and he dumps one back of the net. Rudy tipped it to McSorley. Up around the boards to Mike Krushelnyski. Krushelnyski played it off Casper at center. Laidlaw moving up. Now McSorley gets a stick on it. Put it in the Calgary zone. This is McCrimmon to Ramage. Those cross ice, that one seemed to go off McSorley. No, they really did not touch it. And Calgary will be called for having iced the puck. Mike Vernon, I wonder what radio station he's listening to here as you look at the shots on goal. Well, he's in Calgary during the series. He tunes into a radio station that comes out of Spokane, Washington. I don't think he can pick up that Spokane station down here. You'll have to go to something else, maybe Pirate Radio or one of the others.
Well, I'm not sure about that, Jigs, but I look for just a little more snap in Calgary's offense now with the return of Joey Mullen. When he went off and now he's back, it tells me there's probably some stitches. There's nothing to the knees or elbows or the shoulder, or else he probably wouldn't have come back. But things will pick up when he's on the ice.
Gretzky on the face-off, flanked by Miller and Duguay at the moment, and McCrimmon plays the puck to Patterson, now to Mullen of the Flames, and Duchesne stepped in front of him. Put it back in the Calgary zone. McCrimmon steps behind the net. Tries the left side, moving it up off the boards, off Duguay. On Duguay to Jay Miller. Gretzky headed to the side of the net. Miller knocked down before he could move the puck. And it's played over the head of Duchesne. Up the ice comes Otto. DeGray steps in front of him. What a block by Dale DeGray.
Well, it was a tremendous play by Dale Gray. If he doesn't come up with that thing, Joel Otto is all alone. He's got to break away at the goalkeeper.
Now Gary Roberts dumps the puck back of the L.A. goal, and DeGray has given it to Duguay to Gretzky. Gretzky over the line. Miller goes to the front of the net. Gretzky pulls up, gave the puck to Duguay, and a shot blocked by Merzen. Duguay battling McDonald for control of it. There's Merzen shoveling it around behind the net. Waters in. Waters ties up a couple of Flames. Now Duguay joins the fracas. The puck comes back to Miller. Slaps it toward the net. It's knocked down by Gilmore. Up to McDonald. McDonald comes over the line. Gave it to Roberts. To Gilmore. Shifted to the backhand. He scores! And the building goes silent again as Doug Gilmore made a neat little shift, and there's the reaction of one of this crowd of over 16,000. Disbelief.
Well, no question about it. That just hurts L.A. so bad. It just kills them. But you got to give credit to that guy right there, Dougie Gilmore, and also the old pro, Lanny McDonald. Gives a nice pass there to Dougie Gilmore. Now watch him go against the grain. Tommy Laidlaw is going to move up with him, which he is. And Lanny McDonald goes to the net. Center forward going to the net. Took the sight line away from Kelly Rudy. Again, he could not be moved, and that thing just had eyes. That trickled home. Again, there's the sign of experience right there. Liney McDonald did not skate past the net. He stopped there and did his job. Nice drop pass, nice screen.
Well, Gilmore now with 4 goals in this series. The winner in Game 1 in overtime, a pair of goals early in the first period of Game 2, and a big goal for Calgary here at 13:44 of the third period, their first shot on goal in this period. And Gilmore now with a total of 5 in the playoffs of '89. You look at Gilmore at the bench down in the Calgary end of the ice. Referee Andy Van Helleman asked Vernon to move some of the snow away from the side of the net. That's the reason for the little delay here. Gilmore from Roberts and McDonald is the official scoring of that goal.
Well, again, Jigs, we've seen L.A. battle back time and time and time again. Even though there's only 6 minutes left and down by 2, they've got that type of offense to do it, but they're faced with the best defensive team in hockey in Calgary.
They were forced to 7 games, both teams were, a week ago tonight. Calgary eliminated Vancouver late in the first overtime period. Here, Los Angeles really didn't have much of a test from Edmonton in the 7th and deciding game. Casper tying up Gilmore down in the LA end of the ice. Poplinski got knocked down. Poplinski back at his skates, bumped by Casper, and Gilmore chases it. Beats the blue line. McCrimmon moving it in around the boards. There's Poplinski. Mullen set out in front of the net. Got knocked down as he went for the puck. Up the ice comes Bernie Nichols. Nichols over the Calgary line, left it. Got it right back from Robitaille. Nichols centers. Taylor's shot. That one over the crossbar, into the goal mouth and over the line. LA has scored. The crowd is alive again as this thing sneaks by Vernon.
Well, it's a funny game, but as we pointed out, LA's got the great ability to come back, which it did. Stevie Casper just reached in on a Dave Taylor wraparound attempt or a rebound attempt, was able to get a stick on it for his first goal, in this series in the playoffs. But it was an excellent play by Stevie. He only had to beat the goalkeeper. Nobody had him in check, but you got to give the original play as entering the zone to Bernie Nichols. He is able to control the puck and make the original play to keep it all going.
Now it is 3-2 Calgary, and they're back in the Los Angeles end of the ice again, but Roberts got checked, and Grushelewski up with the puck. Taylor and Nichols get assists on Casper's first goal of the playoffs. Meantime, Tonelli puts the puck in the Calgary zone, and back for it is Merzen. Moved it around the boards, right to Gretzky. Centered one that's blocked. Aired out by McGinnis. Roberts chases it. Trying to get a step on Duchesne. 2-on-1 with Nieuwendyk, and he can't reach the pass. Nieuwendyk was open, headed for the front of the net. And now Duchesne plays it rink wide. Grushelewski, played it rink wide, and Duchesne sends Tonelli over center.
Big still, Calgary's only got one shot, and the one shot's a goal.
Isn't that the truth? Strange game, and out come the Flames, 3-on-1. The lone man back is Nichols. McDonald to the front of the net. There's the pass. Rudy beats him. Eddie McDonald puts it into the corner for Otto. Nichols ties him up. Bernie Nichols moves it around the boards, playing Gretzky with a pass to Nichols. 2 men back for Calgary. Nichols over center, joined now by Robitaille. Nichols got tripped up by Merzen. Nichols with the puck, centers, and it just went wide. Nichols puts it in the slot. Robitaille couldn't pull the trigger, and the Flames play it over the glass into the crowd.
Robitaille had the puck right on his stick, and he just took that a little extra half second. Dana Merzen just lifted his stick and bounced it out of the zone.
And it is still a 1-goal difference.
The 1989 Stanley Cup Playoffs, brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. Sports Channel is more than the exclusive national carrier of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. It's the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour, the World Basketball League, the Ladies Pro Bowlers Tour, exciting amateur baseball featuring Team USA, thoroughbred horse racing, and more. Sports Channel, prime time sports, 7 nights a week.
Before the LA chance, the Flames were coming in waves.
Well, they were. There's no question about it. But here's where the great goalkeeper's got to come into forefront. And Kelly Rudy back to back. Lanny McDonald's coming out of your screen right now, working very hard. Wait for Joel Otto to give him the puck. And again, Bernie Nicholas found himself in a defensive role, played it quite well. But again, Kelly Rudy was out, back pivoted. He went to the stick to poke check that away. Otherwise, the game's out of reach again.
Look at that concentration. The eyes tell the story, don't they, of the Kings goalkeeper, number 32, Kelly Rudy. And down at the other end of the ice, his teammates were storming that Calgary goal, but now they've given the puck away. Mullen gets popped. In they go. Here's Gilmour. He scores. Gilmour's second of the game, is sixth in the playoffs now, and the man that Wayne Gretzky said they had to keep in check has broken loose for 2 goals in the third period. Congratulated by Patterson and Mullen as Casper, who had just brought the Kings to within a goal, gets back to his skates and realizes that they're down by 2 now with only 3 minutes and 33 seconds left.
But the key thing was the play and the persistency of Joey Mullen as he got in possession of that offensive blue line, cut in, took a couple of hits, stayed on his feet, was able to direct the puck, and Dougie Gilmour just jumped on it, and he was all alone right now. A quick release, and that was a tough one for Kelly Rudy to handle. But again, that's the ability of Joey Mullen to pick people up. The things he'll do in traffic, you don't see too often.
The reaction of Robbie Fatorik. You saw Brian Maxwell look up at the clock immediately. Down by 2. How much time left? Duguay with a pass to the left side. McSorley can't pick it up. Roberts does. Gives it to Mullen. Gilmour with him. Takes the pass back to Mullen, and he was in a little deep. Now he puts it in front, but right to Gretzky. Gretzky spots Duguay moving down the right side. Drop pass to Gretzky. Duguay got knocked down. Gretzky tried to center it. Broken up. Then Nichols took a run at Roberts, sending him to the ice. In the meantime, Gilmour is over the line with Mullen. Mullen shoots. He scores. And all of a sudden, it's a romp for the Calgary Flames, up 5-2.
Jigs, I hate to tell you, and I don't want to start pointing or patting myself in the back. I said when Joey Mullen returns, things are going to happen. Because Calgary's offense was just sleeping. They had 1 shot and 1 goal, but nothing was happening. Joey Mullen has that great capacity to get to the holes, come up with loose pucks, do this, do that. He does it all. And again, now he found himself wide open, and with a quick release, he just buried it. What a year he's had. And he's just been an inspiration to this Calgary Hockey Club. And again, that's the line that has killed LA. And Mullen, 14 regular season goals against this hockey club. And again, he continues on in the playoffs.
And it is 5-2 Calgary. Mullen 6th of the playoffs. Gilmour has a half dozen as well. Roberts gets an assist on that goal, coming at 17:15 of the third period. And the fans here in Los Angeles begin to head for the exits. Baumgartner, who hasn't seen much ice time, plays the puck in around the boards. Vernon out of the net. Left it for Dana Merzen. Tries the right wing for McDonald. 3 Kings get back as McDonald bounces one in wide of Rudy. Poplinski after it. Kennedy got a piece of him, and Baumgartner picks up the puck. Tipped it to Jay Miller. Miller, Contos, and Tonelli up front as they put it into the Calgary zone. Vernon steers it to Merzen. He shoots it down the ice. Tonelli got thumped back in the Calgary zone, and now he picks up the puck offside. A little slow getting back on track here after that collision on the boards, and we have exactly 2 minutes left in the third period. Earlier tonight, we had good intentions of saying hello to Larry Stevens, who's Tim Waters' father-in-law. Larry catches all the action on Sports Channel in Utica, New York. We hoped it would be under a little different circumstances, or at least Tim did, Larry. But hope you're still up.
Jigs, is kind of funny thing. We talk about shots so often, but we talk about quality shots. Here's a case in point. Calgary's now had 4 shots on goal and 3 goals. 4 shots and 3 goals this period.
So it's not quantity, it's quality, huh?
Well, Calgary had the quality shots, and you can't really fault Kelly Rudy, and that's a funny thing.
Now Taylor with the pass to Robitaille into the middle for Taylor. Breaks right in on Vernon. Can't get it by him. Now Gretzky shoots. Vernon stretched out covering the low ice. Made the stop. The Calgary Flames dump it down the ice. Rudy is on the bench. They have a empty net to work with, but Duchesne has the puck. Got away from Patterson. Duchesne over center. Robitaille joins him as he played it across the line. And the Flames move it right back out again. 1.5 minutes remaining in the third period. Gretzky's pass through Robitaille. Went to Nichols, but he had a couple of men in ahead of him. L.A. offside. Trailing 5-2. They're about to go down 3-0 in this best-of-7 series. Remember, they trailed Edmonton 3-1 before winning 3 in a row. And this Calgary team is a little different problem than Edmonton was.
I'm sure if we talk to Kerry Crisp after the game, he's going to say this third period was really strange. Here, for 12 minutes, we don't get a shot on goal. And they come back within one, and we get one, and they get one. And all of a sudden, I look up, and we're up 5-2, and we've only had 4 shots, and we've got 3 goals.
Hard to figure out, isn't it?
Well, Joey Mullen came back to the bench. That's what we talked about. This guy has the ability to jumpstart a hockey club, and that's what he's done.
Mullen gets a goal. He sets up a goal by Gilmore, excuse me. That's the one that made it 4-2, and then Mullen's goal stretched it to 5-2. And the final 70 seconds ticking off here as Nichols fed it across, and Duchesne works it in around the boards. It'll be picked up by McCrimmon. Brad McCrimmon playing it up the boards, can't get it out of the zone. 55 seconds, all that's left as they jam the puck up on the boards and now knock it loose. Nichols chases it back into his own zone. That's Roberts in forechecking. The pass to Duchesne, not one that he could handle, and Casper has it. Steve Casper to Gretzky off his stick. Took him outside the line. Picked up at center ice by the Kings. Now to Robitaille. Left side to Casper, and Nieuwendyk was back to break up the pass. This dumps it down the ice. This will be an icing call against Calgary. 26 seconds left in the third period.
Well, Jigs, if it ends this way, it looks like it's going to. Now LA's got to win 4 in a row. I don't see anybody beating Calgary 4 in a row. But then again, when LA was down 3-1, we said, how can they come back? There's only 5 other teams in the National Hockey League history that's ever come back from a 3-1 deficit in the playoffs. But LA did it.
After the 5th goal went in, the reaction, the face of Wayne Gretzky, and what he said earlier today about what his team has to do, feeling that they can come back. If we go down 3-0, that would be awfully difficult. And as Herb pointed out, they'd have to win 4 in a row. And I don't think there is a team. I agree with you, Herb. I don't know if there's anybody right now in this conference, let alone division, that can beat Calgary 4 in a row.
I don't know if there's anybody in the National Hockey League can beat Calgary 4 in a row.
Well, now let's see. We may find out.
Yeah, we might.
Baumgartner right in front of the Calgary bench took a vicious run at one of the Flames, and now Joel Otto is involved. In comes Baumgartner again. This time he's entangled with Ramage. And Joel Otto trying to fight his way off the boards here.
Kenny Baumgartner came on the ice the last 20 seconds. One thing in mind. I'm going to get a piece of somebody. And again, you always try to get the little psychological advantage going into the next game. You soften them up. You get them thinking about anything but what they want to do. They're always thinking about an antagonistic type of player. That's Baumgartner. And he'll just take on the whole bench if necessary. Right or wrong, but that's his mentality. That's his role. And again, just let Calgary know that you're going to have to deal with me next Monday night.
Jay Miller's in the middle of it. Wayne Gretzky is on the ice as well. And you think back to Game 2, Poplinski and Gretzky, and then eventually McSorley. The job he did on Poplinski.
Well, why would you have Wayne Gretzky on the ice at 10 seconds, 15 seconds left, and you're down 5-2? Maybe you get that one goal. Maybe you carries it over to the next game. That's the only reason. Other than that, rest them. Don't let them get injured or some freak type of thing.
McDonald and Gretzky separate. There's Kenny Baumgartner standing about 30 feet away from the penalty box. Everybody else continues to jaw away. Miller having a lot to say in front of the Calgary players bench. But there is Game 4 that'll be right here on Monday night. We'll have it for you on Sports Channel, 10:30 Eastern Time, 9:30 Central Time. Coming up, of course, Lee Zeidman with all the highlights of the other game where Chicago went up 2-1 over St. Louis. And the story of this game is the third period after L.A. had clawed and scratched, got to within 1 a couple of times. The Calgary Flames find a way. Kelly Rudy watching this. Marty McSorley just bumped Lanny McDonald, and Kelly said, uh-oh, maybe this isn't over. And Jay Miller has been pushed away from in front of the players' bench. Gretzky talking to McSorley. Here's what we have coming for you in our coverage of the Stanley Cup. Tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern Time from the Spectrum in Philadelphia, the Flyers will try to even the series with Pittsburgh. And some of you will see the game from Boston, where the Montreal Canadiens lead the Bruins 3-0 in that series. All of the action, 7:30 Eastern. And then Monday night, the Blues and the Blackhawks with Chicago up. 2-1 in that series, to be followed by Game 4 of the series between the Flames and the Kings from this Great Western Forum. Herb and I will be here with you on Monday night. You'll see it all on Sports Channel. 16 seconds, all that's remaining tonight. It's not going to be difficult to get out of the parking lot, Herb, because almost 3/4 of this crowd has already vacated the Forum. Well, they come early now. You know, this crowd is an early arriving crowd, and they set up some tailgating parties here in the Forum parking lots. They watch a little of the street hockey game that seems to precede every home game now for the Kings. I think Santa Monica beat Manhattan Beach about 18-14 this afternoon in that one. And over in the parking lot that surrounds the racetrack, they've got tailgating parties and a lot of good things happening before the games now.
Well, we had a chance to watch some of those games going. The young kids, all of a sudden, with their LA sweaters, they've obviously taken to the game. They don't have a lot of indoor rinks out here, but the ones that they do have are always in use. 24 hours a day, round the clock.
Let me correct something I mentioned a moment ago. The starting times of the games in the East, the games in Philadelphia and Boston tomorrow night, will be at 7 o'clock Eastern. Sunday night, 7 o'clock. From the Spectrum and from the Boston Garden. Check the local listings. Check your listings for the game coverage in your area. A look at Marty McSorley. The penalties that were called here. Otto, it's a roughing penalty. Baumgartner and Miller each draw roughing penalties. So out of it all, Los Angeles is a man short, but really it's academic at this stage.
I'm afraid it is, Jigs, and what this does more than anything else, LA worked very hard, outshot them 13-4 this period, providing nobody gets any more shots. Draws within one, had something going, down by 2, they came back to 3-2, and now so bang, bang, it's over. And it's just a demoralizing thing that just carries over to the next evening.
Duguay unable to get around McCowan, but the pass was offside to begin with, across 2 lines in the center ice area.
So now the hard thing for the LA coaching staff, they got to keep them up. They've got to keep their athletes focused somehow. They got to project them into Monday night. Tomorrow's meeting is a tough one. Tomorrow's practice. They can't be any false bravado now. You know, they got to start to, you know, sometimes the words have just sort of a hollow meaning that they get themselves ready. Each person has just got to go and sort of focus within himself to say what I have to do to help out. We got a long way back. We've got, what's the most important thing right now is our own personal pride and how we handle ourselves personally down 3-1. 4 games straight, it's going to be tough, but it's how they conduct themselves as a professional athlete is going to be very important.
And Calgary is on the winning end, up 3-0 now in this best-of-7 series. They win at 5-2 tonight. You saw the congratulations of Mike Vernon, who won 37 games in the regular season. He's now 7-2 in the playoffs. And the final score is 5-2 Calgary. Back to our Sports Channel studios, and here's Lee Zeidman and Stan Fischler.
Thanks, Jakes. Coming up on Sports Nightly, we'll have the complete post-game report from Chicago as the Blackhawks take the lead in the Norris Division final. In other news, the son of Aladar, Easy Goer, improves his prospects as the leading candidate to take a triple crown. In other news, it's the final night of the NBA's regular season. Darryl Burnett will have the complete story on thoroughbred racing, basketball, and baseball coming up on Sports Nightly. Coming up next after this break, we'll hear from Joel Otto, one of the heroes for the Flames in this series and certainly in tonight's game. Sports Channel Stanley Cup coverage continues after this.
The moment. There are those our lives endure, and those our hearts endear. So whether it's the moment you need cash, or a moment meant to share, you can count on MasterCard. In nearly 3 times the number of places places as American Express. Wherever you happen to be, wherever the moment may find you. MasterCard. Master the moment. To understand Asia, you have to understand its customs, its mystery, its people. You have to know what makes a good impression and what offends. For over 40 years, we've been learning about Asia. So in addition to our convenient schedules, we can give you something no other U.S. airline can. The knowledge that comes after 40 years of helping people do business in Asia.
On your path to success, reach for America's strongest financial helping hand, Citicorp and Citibank. More American families own their own homes and attend college with our help, and more get what they want with MasterCard and Visa cards from Citibank than from any other company. We also serve millions of customers in every major marketplace worldwide. Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive.
The 1989 Stanley Cup playoffs on Sports Channel have been brought to you by Mercury, celebrating its 50th year. By Citicorp, because Americans want to succeed, not just survive. By MasterCard, you can count on MasterCard to master the moment. And by First Brand Corporation, makers of STP oil treatment. STP is the edge. The Stanley Cup playoffs, World Basketball League, the Sports Channel Pro Boxing Tour, Team USA Baseball, and more. Sports Channel, primetime sports, 7 nights a week.
The Calgary Flames defeat the Los Angeles Kings 5-2 in Game 3 of the Spice Division Final at the Great Western Forum in Inglewood. In the first period, McCowan and Otto with goals for Calgary. They're up 2-0, made that stand through the second period as well. And then in the third period, L.A. found some life. Laidlaw scored at the 47-second mark. It stayed 2-1 until 13:44 when you see the goal by Gilmore. Then Casper scores. It gets tight again. But Gilmore and Mullen combined to take Los Angeles right out of it. Gilmore at 16:27. Mullen, who had missed all of the second period and most of the third, is the spark plug for Calgary. Look what the Kings did as far as shots on goal are concerned in the third. 13-4, they outshoot Calgary. But on the night, it's the Flames with 25 shots and the Kings with 23. So now Calgary is up 3-0. I'm Jakes McDonald along with Herb Brooks here at the Great Western Forum. And we're joined in the studio by Joel Otto. We talk about so many spark plugs in this hockey team. Certainly, Joel fits right into that category. Congratulations to you and your hockey club.
Well, thank you very much, Jakes.
Got a little tight there in the third period. Not just the Laidlaw goal, but after you go up by 2 again, back comes Casper. What was the feeling? What was the talk on your bench?
Well, everyone knows the offensive threats that they have, and I think maybe we started sitting back a little bit more than we wanted to, and I don't think we can do some things like that against a team like that. We have to keep going like we did in the first and early parts of the second, and try to use our size and keep it in and forecheck on them.
And then all of a sudden, back to the bench comes Joey Mullen. We never did get a report on what had happened to him. Can you clue us in at all?
Well, Joey took a pretty heavy hit from behind, and he's a feisty competitor, and he was, I'm not sure what the extent of the injury was, but I thought he was just a little woozy, but he came back like a true competitor that he is, and he showed a lot of heart out there, and that's what he's all about. He's a good player.
Well, Mr. Brooks came right up off his stool in the first period when you scored. Herb, you were jumping.
Well, that was a great move. You know, when you broke that check in the neutral zone, Joel, and he faced Jimmy Weimer, you went to the inside and cut to the outside, and now you're using that 6'4" frame of yours to protect that puck. And I thought you were going to go across, Kelly, and then you stopped short and opened up the short side for yourself when you went high. That was a tremendous move, Joel.
Oh, thank you. Geez, I was just lucky to get it by a Weimer there. I didn't even know who the defenseman was there. And when I got it, I just tried to use my size and go in. And Rick Walmsley, who's been sitting, hasn't been able to play yet in the playoffs because of the play of Mike Vernon, but he said, you know, he's been scouting Rudy, and he's just said make the move and go up high on him, and that's all I was thinking of.
Well, that was textbooks, and that's what you did. Maybe we should give Walmsley the assist on that.
Well, I'm sure he'll appreciate that, that's for sure.
You mentioned the name Mike Vernon, and certainly he has been outstanding in the playoffs, as he was all season long. What can you tell me about this goalkeeper?
Well, I think there's another guy that's showing a lot of character. He's taken a lot of heat in the early beginning of the season. A lot of skeptics said he wasn't the big-time goaltender that could make the big saves, and I think he's proven a lot of people wrong, especially in the playoffs now and the latter part of the season. He's really been outstanding for us, making some key saves.
Congratulations again, not only on the goal, but the 5-2 victory, Joel. Your team up 3-0. A fourth game coming up here on Monday night. Thanks for the visit.
Thank you both.
All right. And the Los Angeles Kings now find themselves deep in a hole as Calgary wins tonight 5-2 and have a 3-0 lead in this best-of-7 series.
Mercury introduces Cougar XR7. Supercharger. Speed-sensitive steering. Anti-lock brakes. All this and the quality of a Mercury.
Like a Mercury.
John, where's the cooler?
In the truck.
Don't forget the scuba gear.
It's in the truck.
What about the beach bag, the binoculars?
Everything's in the truck.
Great.
The 1989 Toyota Extra Cab. Everything you expect of a Toyota and something you don't expect of a truck. Real backseat space.
Where's Neil?
In the truck. Toyota.
I love it.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it with Son of a Gun from STP. Shoot the dash, seats, tires, and roof. Son of a Gun protecting. Man, what a difference.
The product. The vehicles. The testing grounds. The results. STP oil treatment is the edge.
I see your true colors shining through. I see your true colors shining through. Don't be afraid to let them show.
If a dream is worth saving, it's worth Kodacolor Gold Film.
The Calgary Flames moved into the Great Western Forum and handled the Los Angeles Kings with ease, beating them 5-2. A late third period burst. Goaltender Mike Vernon was working on a shutout until the third period when Los Angeles scored, but he had a brilliant game, getting his 7th playoff victory, blocking a total of 21 shots as Los Angeles came to life, especially in the third period, and Vernon came to the rescue. And once again, the final score is the Calgary Flames 5, the Los Angeles Kings 2. Remember, tomorrow on Sports Channel, more Stanley Cup playoff action coming your way with Game 4 of the Patrick and Adams Divisional Final Series. The Pittsburgh Penguins battle the Philadelphia Flyers, and the Montreal Canadiens face off with the Boston Bruins. The action for both matchups starts at 7 o'clock Eastern, Sunday, 6 o'clock Central, right here on Sports Channel. Please check your local listings for the regional playoff action in your area. I'm Jakes McDonald for Herb Brooks saying so long until next time. You've been watching Game 3 of the Smythe Division Finals on Sports Channel, the network of the National Hockey League.
Welcome to Sports Nightly. Lee Zeidman along with Stan Fischler with a complete Stanley Cup playoff report. In other news, Easy Goer runs away with the Wood Memorial, now the top Triple Crown prospect. The NFL prepares for tomorrow's draft while the NBA winds up its regular season. Darrell Burnett will have all the other news in just a few minutes, but first, let's talk hockey. The magic that carried the LA Kings to a 7th game victory over Edmonton appears gone. Calgary grabs that commanding 3-0 lead over Los Angeles, a 5-2 win at the Forum tonight, 3 goals in that third period. The Flames burned the Kings twice early in the first. They did not score again until the Kings threatened to come back in that final period. Let's go back and take a look at how things progressed this evening. Early in the first, Calgary rushing on the attack. Poplinski circles behind the net, beats Jamie McGowan, whose blast beats Kelly Rudy 1-0. Sly Stallone looking on, as many celebrities did, with mouths agape because Calgary strikes again. Joel Otto in and out. Jim Wayner was just beaten badly defensively. 2-0 Flames. Early in the third, Kings pressure now. Wayne Gretzky feeds Tom Laidlaw, who beats Mike Vernon short side 2-1. Mid-third, though, Calgary gets the goal back. They give to Doug Gilmour, who makes the move in the slot, puts the backhander past Rudy 3-1, and they go up 3-0, 5-2 the final score. Flames with a 3-goal burst in the third period, and Los Angeles simply outplayed in the final moments. Standing by with more on a rather surprising final score, Jakes McDonald and Herb Brooks. Gents?
Well, it is a little surprising, I guess, Lee, especially to the crowd here. We mentioned how they got taken out of it. Then they got back into it in the third period, and all of a sudden they see the floodgates open. Kelly Rudy, who hadn't had much to do, victimized. When Calgary moves the puck, when they get their attack going, I don't know if anybody could stop them.
Well, the guy that just jump-started him, the return of Joey Mullen. Here's a kid that we talked about. What a year he's had. What a story of this young man. And when he came back to the bench, it seems that Calgary just came right up. He is their leader. The Gilmour, Mullen, Patterson line is the real key line against L.A. in this series. And again, the game took an entirely different complexion.
Los Angeles isn't getting any production, really, from people like Robitaille, Krushelnyski. Gretzky does everything he can possibly do for this hockey team. Some other people aren't contributing either, and their defense is beginning to wear down a little bit. You mentioned Weimer and the way Otto went around him. We didn't see Weimer again. They have Baumgartner dressed tonight, going basically with 7 defensemen and 11 forwards, and that seemed to cost them a little.
Well, yes, their defense sort of the no-name defense. I say this respectfully, but they're a stay-at-home type thing. They clone one another. It's not fair to say Jimmy Weimer sit the bench. He had a couple of big goals in this series and over the playoffs. But he did get beat by Otto. But the key thing was, we said after the second period, for L.A. to get back into it, their defensive core has to be active. They have to go end-to-end. They don't have anybody other than Duchesne to do that. But they have to maybe play a little give and go, or they have to enter in the offensive zone. Laidlaw got a goal. The whole defense, DeGray come up with a couple opportunities. Duchesne started having. That got L.A. on track because it was just 3 L.A. forwards against 5 Calgary defenders, so to speak, and LA's defense was totally out of it, Jigs. But when they got in, things started happening. But then back comes Joey Mullen, and bang, bang, things just broke wide open.
Herb, what kind of madness coaching is this, where he saddles Gretzky with Jay Miller and Marty McSorley when he can activate Luc Robitaille somehow? It seems crazy to me.
Well, it worked in the series against Edmonton, Stan, and I guess Robbie's seizing on whatever worked there may work here. On the night of the opening game, I looked at Herb, he looked at me. What kind of a lineup is this? Gretzky at center, McSorley on one side, and Miller on the other. But, I mean, they didn't play together all night long, but Wayne has played with just about everybody. There has been a great deal of criticism of Robbie, again, in this series.
Well, I don't want to criticize Robbie Ftorek, but he brought his hockey club here. Sometimes when you have some superstars, or a superstar in Wayne Gretzky, it's hard to blend everything in. But they had 91 points. They made a great deal of progress, but they're just out of sync a little bit in this period, and some of the other writers were saying about some of the line combinations. But basically, any coach will tell you, when you're down, when you're behind, you play your goal scorers. And if Robitaille is saying he's having a tough series, he still has the capability of putting the puck away. You got to go to those people. And conversely, when you're up, you go to your checkers and you keep the people out. And when it's going to be overly physical, you go to those people that can be physical. And so your point, Stan, is a good point. But we should not forget the fine job that Robbie has done to bring L.A. to this point. And maybe it's a little frustration. Maybe they're just trying to get something going. Who knows what goes through a coach's mind?
Well, in the case of Robbie Ftorek, he, as you say, has his team to this point. But now they're in a case of being down 3-0 to the best team in the National Hockey League. And they know they're coming back here Monday night, and we'll be here to see what happens, gentlemen.
Okay, thanks, Jigs. Herb, we'll see you again on Monday. Stan, I guess the most obvious question is, where do the Kings go from here?
Well, I think they have to tell themselves that they are not a bad team in relation to Calgary. They could have won that first game. They could have won this game, too, if they had gotten a couple of breaks in the first period. I thought the refereeing by Andy Van Hellemond did not help them. He could have called a 5-minute major against Jim Poplinski. There was a high sticking on Marty McSorley. Didn't call a penalty at all. Then he comes back and he calls Ken Baumgart on a perfectly clean check. Sure, it floored Joey